Gary Vee. I love Gary Vee. And I was lucky enough to meet him. And
You met him?
I met him in person. I was heading to New York for another event about NFTs. And he had a beanie, he was doing the 5, and I was saying, oh my God, don't tell me. And I got to meet all these cool people. Snoop Dogg, Logan Paul. NFTs are non-fungible tokens. You can prove that you own the original art. I'm Zach Ritchie. I'm an artist and I do cartoons for a living.
Okay, first things first, introduce yourself, who you are, what do you do for a living?
Hi guys, I'm Zach Ritchie. I am an artist, product designer, and a developer of intellectual property. I enjoy life on the side of creating cartoons. I never grew up. I still consider myself a kid, and I do cartoons for a living and build stories around these cartoons.
For today's video, we want to make it like a crash course. As a young guy and you are same age with our community, that's what we want to know exactly how to start a business and how to grow your business, how to be in the business like from zero to hero.
I mean, it all ties down to building a brand. A brand is the most important thing. You can create a product, but if it's not associated with a feeling or it's not associated with an overall team, it won't go so far. So the easiest and the most efficient thing to do is to create a brand. It's just gradual, compounding, small efforts. So you do something, like let's say you come up with an idea, you share it, and you see how the audience engage with it. Maybe you don't have a target audience as yet, and you see how they interact with it, and then through time you just make small iterations.
You mean that for knowing our target audience, first we have to start a business, first we have to launch it, then we see how people approach, and based on that, we will make
at the end of the day, like for example what we have here, Archipads, there isn't anything on the island like it. So we made an assumption. Who do we think we should target with these products? And there are two categories. In this case, we assumed locals, people who live here, who are Maltese. So we have one brand called Maltisms, which turns Maltese viral slang and memes into products that they can take home with them. And the other target is tourists and kids. Tourists and kids come to Malta because of our rich culture, because of our history. So what did we try and do? We tried to bring our rich past, something that people go to museums and exhibitions, into something that they can take home with them and they can give as a gift.
How old are you, by the way?
Me? How old do you think I am?
26.
26?
7? 8?
I'm actually 31.
31?
Yes.
Jesus.
Cartoons, bro.
Oh, okay.
They keep me young. They keep me young.
That's good, yeah. That's also part of your business when you are enjoying with your business and
I love what I do.
But what's your background?
I come from the design industry. I started out in fine arts, and being extremely honest with myself, would I be able to contribute so much doing fine arts? So I decided to get into graphic design, and that kind of changed the way I see things. So from fine arts, you appreciate things for the labor, the skill, the material. And then when you get into graphic design, it's the polar opposite. You appreciate things for communication, for simplicity, for visuals, for marketing. And having that switch really made me focus on developing brands and illustrations for other brands locally. So it got to a point where I said, I'm creating all these brands for other people, which is great, but it's not feeding my soul, it's not making me happy. So I started doing something at the side, which back then was called Malta's Got Character, which is now Archipads, and we launched an exhibition. It was called Malta's Got Character. So this whole idea of Archipads started out as an exhibition. Wow. It started with art first, and then it led to a products retail store.
Why this business?
I would say this business interested me the most because it has so much more room for growth, so much more room for development, so much more room for collaboration versus just creating something for a client. There's always steps, slowly. Like every graphic designer would need to have clients, to have something to walk towards. But in this case, I was really after something that can grow, something that can be bigger than me, something that can represent my country, something that can go overseas and promote Malta as a destination. Because really and truly, we live in a great island, you know? It's a cocktail over here of culture and all these things.
Yeah, exactly. And you said that the collaboration and this kind of things, I need to touch this one. How you are finding like-minded people or with the other designers or maybe like business owners, how you are collaborating with them, how do you find them?
So right now, it's more paying attention on social media and paying attention to what other brands are doing. And collaborations usually happen when we see that there's a mutual beneficial way that we can can grow together.
Some people say that if you are collaborating with the same business people, there is a possibility like you will go down or someone will go up. But is it important to find the same industry people to collaborate them, or how it is beneficial for you?
You have to just see that there isn't competition. I mean,
Yeah.
you can actually open up the door. Although it's a small island and there is some competition, I take it back. You can actually be more inclusive with other people. If you think win-win, everyone grows. There's a big pie. You don't think about the small slice, just growing the bigger pie.
You said that collaboration sometimes can be tricky, or sometimes it works for growing your business and scaling it up. Let's say that I also have the same business and I start like a characters store and we are competitors, but we want to collaborate. How we have to start, or what should we do that we can be win-win and not to make enemies?
I think the first thing is to really consider the other person. So see like the other person who might be your competitor, see what value you can bring to them, and then approach them, have a coffee and say like, listen, here are some ideas, here are some suggestions. Like, what do you think if we had to do this together? Here's what I expect and here's what I can offer. Listen, I just started out. I'm having these hurdles. You've been in the industry way longer than us. How did you come over these hurdles? I know that we might be seen as competitors, but it doesn't need to be the case. We can grow together.
About the product, you are getting everything local, or the manufacturing process, how it is doing a supply chain business or logistic, how you are dealing with it?
So as mentioned, this is the first time we're opening a store.
Yeah.
There is nothing really like this on the island that we can model off of or get feed or data from. So we're getting data as we open. This is our second week open.
Wow,
Right
congratulations
now.
by the way, second week, yeah? Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So right now we source within Europe and outside of Europe for our supply chain, and products can take around 6 months. So we've been 2 years pre-opening developing products.
Wow.
Of which we've designed around 326 products, all of which I mean had a long process from sketch to then designing them to then getting samples to then, for example, creating 3D models, creating molds like these toys that you're seeing.
Yeah.
So it's quite a process. I mean, we've learned a lot.
Wow. But how you are finding those guys like for making it profitable for your own business, and especially if there is like outsourcing someone or finding third-party countries, how you are finding them, or how you are negotiating with them?
Right now, we're doing everything in-house, the sourcing and all these things. We have someone who fully focuses on sourcing, and that's his job to do, and he searches everything.
And how many employees you have?
Right now, I believe we're around 8 to 9, if I'm not mistaken, including the staff over here in the shop.
Within 2 weeks, what you have learned
Within 2
being
weeks,
a store owner?
so much. Even the first week I was here almost every day, just observing, saying how I can optimize and maximize certain things. It's crazy to see like the smallest things can make a difference. Even just displaying something, placing the product near the packaging, for example, placing the POS graphics, for example, near it to show what the product is. Storytelling, how, for example, approaches someone and tells them the story makes a big difference. Customer experience, all these things I wouldn't have known, but just spending 1 week here has really opened me up into improving a lot of things.
Yeah, what are you learning from your customers?
A lot.
What's like, is there any like hard customers you need to deal with them, or?
No, right now the hard thing is that there are two types of customers, tourists and locals. The tourists might not understand the local stuff because obviously they don't understand what it is. So we need more signage to explain what these things are, to explain the history behind these characters.
If there is like a person coming here without any idea like what they want to buy, or they don't know what is this about, and how you are telling it?
By selling the story.
Telling the story, yeah, that's the only key.
But more than selling the story, informing them that over here they're not buying products, they're buying stories and culture and history. So whether it's a gift that they're taking home with them, they're essentially selling a story to them, they're delivering a story.
That's important for growing your business organically.
We actually 3D printed a lot of our products prior to actually making them and making samples, which would help us on costs and also give us a better idea of what the products look like. So these are actually were not products, but these are just cool things.
By the way, who's this guy?
This guy? He's my brother, bro.
Really?
Nice to meet you, buddy.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, okay.
So just to give you an idea of some fun things that we're doing different to other companies.
We're working with your brother.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, well, he's a salesperson.
No, he's not the salesperson.
Who is he?
Who is he? He's the head of marketing, bro.
Head of marketing.
A few moments later.
These are, how would you say, basically feet models, but they're not the normal type of feet models. They're a bit cartoony.
Yeah.
Like obviously, I've never seen a foot like this. You know what I mean? They're a
Me
bit
neither.
big, but it gives it more of that playful feel that we're trying to go for.
Yes.
How do you feel working with him?
Amazing.
You see?
Not I think, 100%. I've never had anyone who believes in me so much.
12 seconds later.
And this is the actual outcome. So this is the PVC model that you get with our drone toys, and this is our test. As you can see, they are exactly the same, just different material. So you can imagine how this helped us in the curating process of our collection.
What value he's bringing?
What value?
Yeah.
What I love about him is he has a very high understanding of fashion. He studied fashion. I consider him a high beast.
How do you feel working with your brother?
It's amazing. I've worked a lot of previous
But
jobs.
you don't know what he said about you.
No, I hope good things.
Okay.
He really understands the industry. And what's
Okay,
good is he
that's cool.
really knows good quality. Even when he sees shoes, when he sees clothes. And he
Cool.
brings a lot to the table.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. Okay, but what do you think?
I think it's a pleasure. It's a bit more stressful than working the regular type of job, because you have to keep in mind that my boss is actually my sibling. So since it's a kind of a family relationship, I don't want to disappoint him more than I
Yeah.
would have tried to not disappoint a boss. Even though I'm a hardworking at heart, I have to be extra hardworking in this type of
But he
scenario.
doesn't think that way.
A few inches later.
He also manages and co-founded NFT Club. It's a platform, and he scaled it from 10K followers to, I think, 240K, something like that.
Okay.
So he knows what he's doing.
He doesn't, but I do.
But he said that you are always coming here wasting your time, you are chatting with girls. Or
I
you
definitely
you
not.
don't add any values to this store. I don't know, but he said that.
I'm 100% sure
Are you sure the same?
that's just not what he said.
Yeah. So as you said that about NFTs, just give some brief information. What is NFT, or how you are interacting with NFT industry to the store or your own business?
So right now it's very separate. But what was mentioned before was Kane manages NFT Club, which is a curated Instagram page where we highlight and educate on NFTs. NFTs are non-fungible tokens, so it's basically you can nowadays prove that you own something digitally. You can prove that you own the original art as a 1 out of 1 or as a collection. It's basically backed by the blockchain. The blockchain is a ledger basically that can't be burnt, altered, and it can list who owns what.
Who inspired you about getting involved in NFT?
Some of the people who inspire me, I would say influencers and these marketing gurus, are Seth Godin, Gary Vee. I love Gary Vee. What I really liked about him is the way he approaches marketing. He talks about giving, and then asking rather than assuming. And I think it's a really nice concept, because if you give value, that's how businesses grow. You give, and people will spread word. Back a few years, I was lucky enough to attend VCon, which is an IP that Gary has developed around NFTs.
Okay.
And I was lucky enough to meet him. And
You
then
met him?
I met him in person, and the second time I met him was my favorite time. I was heading to New York for another event about NFTs, and as I was queuing in Frankfurt to catch my flight to New York, I just see this guy like randomly taking a picture with this other guy, and he had a beanie, he was doing the 5, and I was saying, oh my god, don't tell me it's Gary
Always
Vee.
swearing effort.
And I noticed him straight away, because
F
the guy was literally behind me, you know?
Wow.
So because I felt him, you know, and I turned around, I'm like, oh my god. So I was in this queue, and I'm like, I have 10 to 15 minutes with Gary Vee, like. So I just spent the whole time speaking to him, telling him about Mota, telling him about my dreams and how much I admire him from before he got into NFTs.
What value it added to your mindset or the business also?
First of all, VCon, just to let you know, is a filtration of the best quality of people that Gary knows. So I don't know Gary, but I bought a ticket. And a ticket, to get it, you had to either have the NFT or you had to pay a certain amount to get it. And I was lucky enough that I managed to get one. And I got to meet all these cool people. Snoop Dogg, Logan Paul, they were all within the vicinity. Like, it was amazing. Pharrell Williams was there, all these top cool people.
Damn, that's cool. Some people say that there is like a controversy. You have to do what you love, and what you know about it, then you will grow, you will be successful. But also there are people say that no, you should do whatever you can't do or whatever you don't know. Then you can face the challenges, then you can become like mature, then you can learn a lot. Well, from your point, which one you believe in?
I believe in a bit of a different part. At least the part that happened to me organically was I was just curious about things. I want to be honest with you, maybe me 10, 15 years ago, I loved cartoons, but I would have never thought I would be doing what I'm doing right now. It's all like a gradual curiosity of trying things that excite me and receiving feedback and alternating it. It branches out. It's the same like reading a book. It branches out into different interests and it leads to bigger things. It compounds over time. Like if you had to tell me 15 years ago that we're going to be designing sculptures around cartoon characters, I would have said, you're a funny person.
I want to know about your characters. Can you show some of them and
Sure.
also which are the best selling?
So the characters, they're basically all inspired by Maltese culture. Malta has a lot of culture, and this is one of the characters. Her name is Maria. She represents the goddess of fertility. She's found in the temples of Gigantia, and she was found as remains without a head and a very curvy lady. Over here we have Nino Deluzzo. Nino's a very charismatic character. He's always running around the sea. Although he is very charismatic, he has one flaw. He is he's like a coward sometimes. And what's funny is, we played with the history, so this is the Eye of Horus. All these boats have this eye, and it is believed to scare off evil. It's a scary cat at the same time. This is Tomas. Tomas is the brave knight. He represents the Knight of St. John, and they are the ones who gave us the Maltese cross that we have today and Malta's associated with. This character over here is one of my favorites. Is the one that I've been obsessed with drawing. His name is Beppe. Beppe over here comes from Mdina, the landscape filled with all the prickly pears on the rural side. And lastly, there is Mercury. Mercury is this new character that basically brings them all to life. He represents the contemporary part of Malta. This is something that is not part of culture, but it's part of the new. And what he has done is he has brought all these characters to life, and he wishes to learn about the rich past of Malta. His house is here, St. Julian's,
City
in this
boy.
building that we are in.
At the end, for people like us and early 20s, they want to start their own business or like aspiring entrepreneurs, what advice would you give to them?
Be extremely curious and take action and learn from that action and iterate, keep on iterating.
Yeah.
And it's fine over time if your goals and your achievements change, it's fine, but just keep on following your curiosity and your excitement.
Any books or podcasts what you would recommend for us, personal development or financial side?
I would say the best books that I've read is How to Win and Influence People, How to Think and Grow Rich,
Yeah, Napoleon Hill.
The Compound Effect, I love that book. The One Thing, there are many books that I just love.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Contagious is another great book. It speaks about word of mouth, marketing. Podcasts, what podcasts do I love? I love Stephen Bartlett, I love Seth Godin, Kimbo. I love Gary Vee, obviously, the Gary Vee show, the Gary Vee show.
Thank you very much for your lecture, and it was really a crash course, I would say, and it was a valuable lesson for us, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, bro.